How can I be more productive? How can I get more out of the working day? How can I improve my time management and organisational skills? These are questions I hear quite frequently, particularly in organisations. And in this short video, I'm going to share with you a few tips on how to boost your productivity. But first of all, a few general observations, because time management is such a broad area and it's important for us to focus on just one or two things in particular. So logically, when we think of time management, we have to acknowledge the fact that there is only 168 hours in the week, and that's all that there ever will be. You have the same amount of time available to you as world leaders do, as Bill Gates does, as your next door neighbour does. So it's not really about time management, it's really about how we manage ourselves in the context of time. And when people say things like, well, I don't have the time to do that, or I don't have the time to go there, really what they mean is that they have something else that's a higher priority for them. So looking at this whole area of time management really brings us into the territory of priorities and self-management. So our first tip for boosting our time management and organisational skills is based around a buzzword, something that you hear a lot of, particularly in organisations, and that term is working smarter. But what does it mean? Working smarter always means identifying what you're no longer going to do and to stop doing it. There's only 168 hours in the week, so if you're going to devote some additional time to maybe a higher priority, you have to create some time by pulling something out of your schedule. Maybe it's something that you can delegate, or maybe it's something that you can drop entirely. Our second tip for boosting our organisational skills is all around lists. Now, I would operate from a place where if it's not on a list, it doesn't exist. Whether that's a holiday packing list, a Christmas card list, a shopping list. For me, it's the old phrase of ink it, don't think it. When you put something down on a page, whether it's your to-do list for the day or the week, you're freeing up headspace so that you don't have to worry about trying to remember something. Pure productivity, or theories of productivity, tell us that having a weekly to-do list is the best time frame to operate over. There's other versions of that, though, that we can have as well. It's like, I'm also a fan of having a not to-do list. So today or this week, I'm not doing A, B, C, and D, which of course ties in with our concept of working smarter. We can also have a to-be list, based on the thinking that we're human beings and not human doings. So this week I'm going to be focused, I'm going to be dedicated, I'm going to be professional, I'm going to be courageous. Get the being bit right, and a lot of the doing actions will fall into place. Perhaps my favorite list, though, is playing with the letters of to do just a little bit. So instead of to do, we can change an O to an A and add on a Y, and we have today. So what's my list for today? So what do I mean by a today list? Well, it's identifying the 4 or 5 actions that you would be happy about completing today. And anything more than that would be a bonus. Third tip, it's an extension of our lists. All lists are should lists, but if we can identify each day or each week something that is a must, we must get it done. I much prefer the word must than even say the word priority. There's much more energy to the word must. Here's 5 things I must get done this week. Here's 3 things I must get done today. There's so much more energy and momentum to that word. So whatever to-do list you operate, maybe circle or highlight what your musts are for the day or for the week ahead. Tip number 4 for boosting our time management and organisational skills is an extension of what's just gone before, our lists and our musts. One of the things that works really well for me is taking action on one of the tasks that I've identified as a must-do task before I get stuck into anything else, and that includes opening up email. If we remember, or if we think about it, email is a reactionary tool. So if you're normally at your desk for 9 o'clock, can you take action on one of your musts, even in the first 15 minutes, before you open up email and get sucked into other people's urgencies? And the last point to consider, our last tip, is recognizing that there will always be trade-offs. What do I mean by trade-offs? Trade-offs means that we're saying yes to something and we're saying no to something else. I often think with good time managers, with good organisers, you know where you stand with them, and they're also making conscious decisions around, if I'm saying yes to this task, I'm aware of what I'm saying no to and the consequences of that. So more conscious decision making around the trade-offs that we make every day. So to conclude, I'm going to leave you with a bit of a reflection question. You know, the ideal scenario is that our schedules, how we spend our time, reflects what's most important to us. When we can make conscious decisions around what we're saying yes to, what we're saying no to, what our trade-offs are, what our musts are, where we've given some focus to our to-do lists or our today lists, what we're then able to do is, you know, try to get to a place where what matters most to us is not at the mercy of what matters least.